Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Now, what do you think? Should Meghan be coming?
No, I think Meghan is very brave for declining the invitation. I think she's stuck up for her husband and she's done everything that she needs to do. And now she's saying, you go deal with your toxic family. I want to stay with my children where I'm safe and I don't have to deal with your toxic family.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was an Andrew element here. Does she, you're going to have to be in a room with Prince Andrew? What?
No, I don't think that concerns her. I don't think that's the case. I just think that dealing with Camilla, Charles, William and Kate, she doesn't want to deal with the press as well. So she's happy where she is. And in regards to the booing, the people that should be worried about being booed is Charles and Camilla. He's egged and booed wherever he goes. It's not Meghan. Meghan is loved. She doesn't get booed. Prince Harry doesn't get booed. They are loved. And
that's a good point. We have noticed on the phones people still upset about Diana, Jerry.
Yeah.
Of course.
The third person in the marriage, but that's a long time.
No, not a long time ago. And also, I read somewhere that the number of street parties is only about 270, whereas for the Queen's Jubilee, it was about 15 to 1700.
Wow.
So that's quite an interesting fact.
I don't know whether it's a fact at all. It's the sort of thing, well, it's in the papers, but the Daily Mail.
No, it wasn't in the Daily Mail. It was in quite a serious newspaper.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, stop.
Have a look.
Thanks, Zainab. Barbara in Cheshire, hi. Should Meghan...
So Zainab called into the Jeremy Vine show and said, loud and clear, that Meghan is brave for staying away from the toxic royal family. It was liberation spoken into a microphone. It was honestly the kind of moment that just cuts through the noise and exposes the raw truth that so many in Britain are, well, honestly, too afraid to say. She unleashed a righteous, unfiltered rebuke of the entire royal charade, backed by conviction, intelligence, and lived understanding. Her voice carried the weight of generations, calling out the monarchy, the press, and the public for their relentless mistreatment of Meghan Sussex, and for the way they've allowed racism, classism, and misogyny to fester behind the illusion of decorum. She came in with clarity, with fire, with truth. She knew exactly what Meghan had walked away from, and she made it her mission to make sure everyone listening understood that Meghan's choice wasn't cowardice or betrayal. It was self-preservation, it was strength, and most of all, it was freedom. What Zainab delivered wasn't just a defense. It was a verbal revolution against the archaic nonsense that still props up the monarchy in this country. In one phone call, she did what 1,000 royal correspondents have failed to do. She told the unvarnished truth, and it shook the room. Because here's the thing. When Meghan Sussex stepped back from royal duties alongside her husband Prince Harry, she wasn't just stepping away from ceremonies and tiaras. She was stepping away from psychological warfare, from relentless tabloid headlines accusing her of everything from controlling her husband to daring to cradle her baby bump. From palace courtiers who leaked stories, controlled narratives, and hid behind silence when her name was being dragged through the dirt. Coming from a family that was quick to close ranks against her, but somehow managed to forgive, overlook, or even outright embrace a disgraced prince involved in an Epstein scandal. Meghan, well, she saw through the pomp, the protocol, and honestly, the hypocrisy. And instead of just playing the part, she chose peace. She chose motherhood without surveillance. She chose love without manipulation. She chose a life on her own terms. That decision wasn't easy. It was definitely a sacrifice. But it was the right one. And no matter how hard the media tries to spin it, the truth stands firm. She saved herself and her children from an institution that has long been allergic to accountability. Let's not pretend that the booing narrative is equal across the board, because it really isn't. When Meghan and Harry make public appearances, be it in the United States, Canada, Nigeria, Germany, or anywhere else, they're met with cheers, applause, gifts, music, and joy. Crowds line up to see them. Children beam with excitement. Veterans cry and thank Harry for his service. Women wrap Meghan in love like she's their daughter, their sister, their friend. That's not a royal PR stunt. That's real. That's human connection. And that's because people recognize truth when they see it. People recognize humility. People recognize service without ego. But Charles and Camilla? They step out of the car and immediately the tension in the air is thick enough to cut with a knife. The boos have happened. Not once, not twice, but on multiple occasions. During the Jubilee, at Commonwealth events, even during coronation celebrations. Because the people have not forgotten. They haven't forgotten how Camilla was introduced to the public on the heels of Diana's death. They haven't forgotten Charles's leaked phone calls and the global humiliation he brought to the crown. They haven't forgotten the way this family exiled its most beloved son and then expected the public to just clap and curtsy like nothing ever happened. Let's be clear, this isn't just about booing. This is about what it represents. It's about public sentiment, about what the people are no longer willing to tolerate. The British monarchy has spent decades packaging itself as stable, dignified, and above reproach. But when your king is being booed in the streets and your queen consort is being side-eyed by the very crowd that was supposed to adore her, that illusion starts to crack. And no amount of pearl-clutching or royal protocol can paper over that anymore. Because we're living in an era where people are tired of being lied to. They're tired of being told that loyalty means silence, that tradition means oppression, that dissent is treason. Meghan and Harry broke free from that, and that's exactly why they're being embraced by the world while Charles and Camilla keep dodging awkward moments behind palace gates. What really infuriates the establishment is that Harry and Meghan didn't just leave, they thrived. They built a life in Montecito. They signed their own deals, built their own platforms, supported charities, and produced work that actually reaches people. They showed the world that you don't need a crown to make an impact, that you don't need royal backing to be relevant, that your humanity is more powerful than any title. And the royal family? They hate that, because the truth is, Harry and Meghan's existence outside the firm exposes the firm's own irrelevance, and every time they show up smiling, confident and free, it reminds the monarchy of what it lost. Not just a working royal, but a bridge to the modern world, a symbol of inclusion, a chance to evolve. The media plays a huge role in twisting this narrative. They'll tell you that Meghan is divisive while conveniently ignoring the fact that she was attacked before she even had a chance to speak. They'll tell you that Harry is brainwashed while ignoring that he's been calling out royal dysfunction since long before Meghan entered the picture. They act as though Meghan introduced chaos to the royal family, when in fact, the chaos was always there. She just refused to hide it. She refused to smile through it. And for that, they called her everything but a child of God. The media can't stand that Meghan didn't grovel, that she didn't give in, that she had the audacity to leave a system that was never designed to protect her. So instead, they try to convince the public that she's the villain, that she's unwanted, that she's alone. But when you look at the footage, when you look at the crowds, when you see the international reception, that lie falls apart in seconds. Let's talk about King Charles for a minute, because no one gets booed for no reason. This is a man who spent decades rehabilitating his image after what he did to Princess Diana, and yet somehow still can't command genuine affection from the public. His ascension to the throne wasn't met with excitement. It was met with shrugs, protests, and placards. Why? Because people see through it. They know this isn't a man of the people. This is a man who turned a blind eye to his younger son's suffering, who has been accused of accepting cash donations from shady foreign sources, who reportedly gave Camilla his full support while giving Meghan the cold shoulder. He didn't protect his own son from press abuse, yet expects to be respected as a father and a monarch? Please. The booing isn't just about his past, it's about his failure to lead in the present. And no matter how many times articles try to paint him as thoughtful or modern, the streets are singing a very different song. And Camilla, oh, let's not forget how she maneuvered her way from mistress to queen. The British press bent over backwards to rebrand her, to rehabilitate her, to soften her edges and rewrite the narrative. But the people? Yeah, they remember. They remember the betrayal. They remember the tampon tapes. They remember Diana's tears. Camilla may wear a crown now, but it's not one earned with love. It's tolerated at best, and honestly, resented at worst. When the public boos her, it's not out of spite. It's out of historical memory, out of collective grief, out of unresolved pain, and no matter how many photo ops she stages, she will never be the people's queen. Meanwhile, Meghan has moved forward. She has her peace, her children, her voice, and a platform that doesn't depend on palaces or pageantry. She's been insulted, investigated, and lied about, and still she rises. And Harry, walking beside her, has shown the world what true loyalty and love look like. Not duty, not silent suffering, but protection, boundaries, action. That's why they are loved. That's why they are celebrated. That's why when they walk into a room, the energy shifts, because people see them and think, finally, someone chose love over legacy. Finally, someone said no to tradition when tradition meant trauma. Finally, someone walked away. So let them keep booing Charles and Camilla. Let them keep asking why Meghan doesn't come back. The truth is loud, and it's not going away. The royal family pushed away its most modern, diverse, and compassionate members, and the world took them in with open arms. That's not failure, that's justice, that's growth, that's power. And no matter how many headlines try to reverse that truth, the people have already chosen. They've chosen love, they've chosen truth, they've chosen Harry and Meghan.